Shabbos, Kuf Chav Beis, 122. On Rav Abba Bar Kahana Rav Chanina, Kronos shel Beis Rebbe, Mutar l'Talpon b'Shabbos. Kronos are like wagons. So the wagons in the house of Rebbe were not considered so large that they would be considered muktzah. Amar lo Reb Zera. Are we talking about wagons benitolim ba'adam echad or b'shnei bnei adam? Wagons that could be moved by one person or two people. Amar lo ka'osan shel beis avicha, which were the small ones. So a wagon that could be pulled by one person, that would be considered mobile enough that it's not koveya a makom, like an armoire is so heavy that you would not be able to move that item. It's nikba in its place. It's muktzah because of that. But a wagon that could be moved would not be muktzah. Amar lo. Amar Rav Barkani Tulehem Rabbi Chanila Beis Rebbe Lishtos Yain B'Kronish Shel Nochri B'Chosam Echad. That if they delivered wine in a wagon and a non-Jew had touched it, and there was one seal as opposed to two seals, Rav Chanina permitted such to drink such wine. Lo yadani mishum b'sarv like Rabbi Eliezer. One approach might be he permitted because Rabbi Eliezer held that you only need one seal as opposed to the Chachamim that say you need two seals. Mishum emes of the Bein Asiyah, or they were non-Jews were so if they had the contract to provide wine to the house of the Reish Galusa, they would not touch it because they would be afraid of losing the contract. And therefore that might have been the reason why they gave a heter to drink such wine. We hold you need two seals. Nachri shehidlik esaner. A Yehudi lights a candle. Mishtamish la'oro Yisrael. And Mistama, the non-Jew, lit it for his own purposes, for his own hanah. So a Jew can benefit from such a candle. But if he lit it specifically for the Jew, and Bishul Yisrael also, Mile Mayim lahashkos behemto, if an Eno Yehudi fills up water from a boar that was in Reshus Harabim on Shabbos to give water to his own animals, Mashka Akrav Yisrael, a non-Jew, a Jew can have his animal drink from that trough because he did it for himself. In Bishul Yisrael also, if he did it specifically to benefit a Jew, then the Jew would not be able to use it. Third case. Also, Nachri Kevesh Leirego, a non-Jew dropped a ramp. A ramp. Kevesh was like a ramp from a boat to the dock to walk off the boat. And he did it for himself. So then the Jew would be allowed to go down it. Yored Akrav Yisrael. In Bishvil Yisrael, if it was done just for Yisrael, Asr. Ma'aser Bar Gamliel was a kenim. Shayubayin b'sfina. Vasa Nachri Kevesh Leirebo. The Yardi Bar Gamliel was kenim. I guess they assumed that it was done on behalf of the non-Jew. So that they used it. Now, why do we need all three cases? Tzricha. The Yashmin Ner, if I'm going to be told the case of the candle, Mishum de Ner le'echad ner le'meya. A candle gives off a lot of light, even though you would light the same candle for one person, same candle for 100 people. And since the non-Jew did for his own need, there's no reason to think that he had done something more to benefit from the Jews. It's the same candle that everyone will benefit from. Aval mayim, but maybe by schlepping water, ligzer dilma asila fusha b'shvil Yisrael. Maybe we should be goizer, because maybe the non-Jew in the back of his mind will schlep more water because he knows a Jew will use it. So no, we're not goizer by mayim. So what's the case of the ram? Kevesh lamali. Ma'aseh Rabbi Gamliel is Canaan Kamash Malon, just to tell us the story about Rabbi Gamliel, that they had used it. Rabbanan, Nochri Shaliket Asovim. A non-Jew gathered grasses to feed his animal. Maichil Achrav Yisrael. A Jew can allow his animal to eat from those grasses. In Bishul Yisrael Asr. If the non-Jew picked the grasses specifically for a Jew's animal, then the Jew can't use it. Mile Mayim Lashkos Behemto. But if he filled up water, the non-Jew for his own animal, Mashkach Rav Yisrael, then Yisrael Asr. Now, it's l'chura, that's the same case of our Mishnah. Bamedvar Mamurim, though the Baraisa says, when is that allowed for the Jew to use it? She'en makiro. He doesn't know this non-Jew. Avol makiro asur. If he knows the Jew, if the Jew knows the non-Jew, so then it's prohibited. Because most likely, when the non-Jew did these things, he did it to benefit his friend, the Jew, as well. Whereas it's not so. A Jew is allowed to have his animal stand in a field and eat grasses. We're not goizer that maybe we don't allow that because you're going to go and chop the grasses from the ground to feed it to your animal. The animal's allowed. You're allowed to feed your animal on Shabbos. You're allowed to have your animal go out in the field and eat. You can stand over it. We don't say it's osir. Avalog gabi muktzah b'Shabbos. But let's say grasses have been cut during the weekday from the ground. But you didn't set aside any of those grasses Erev Shabbos for your animal to eat. So that you're not allowed to have your animal stand over because it's muktzah. And so how come we said that a nochri that gathered grasses, it's the same as if it would be muktzah? So the more answers, the koim le ba'ape, va'azlihi va'achla. You can't have your animal stand there over the grasses that the non-Jew cut. You can prevent the animal from leaving the area. If the animal's there already, you can sort of stand in the exit and prevent the animal from leaving. You can't bring him there because of this din of the muktzah. Just need to get a tissue 1 second. Omar Mar. So the Brisa says, "But medvar mamurim shein makiro." When do we permit for you to benefit from something that a non-Jew did? If you didn't know the non-Jew, aval makiro aser. So freight the Gemara harav Gamliel makiro hava. The case where the Rabbi Gamliel came off the boat because the non-Jew had put the ramp down from the boat to the dock was a case where Gamliel knew the non-Jew. How could he benefit from it? Rabbi Shaloi b'fanav hava. He wasn't. He had nobody. They didn't see each other, and therefore it's clear that the non-Jew had done it for himself. Rava Omar, Rava says you can be metaritz the baraisa filu tema b'fana, that even if the non-Jew was present in Rabbi Gamliel's presence, because a rab is similar to ner le'echad, ner le'mem. It doesn't require any extra tircha for one person to use the rab or 100 people to use the rab. So it's a similar sport to the candle. And therefore, we're not worried that the non-Jew is going to do extra work if we allow this to happen, because one rab is good for many people. So Meisvei, I'll ask you a kasha. Amalei Rab Gamliel, Hoil v'shelo b'fanenu aso ne'redo. Rabbi Gamliel at the time said, "Oh, you know why we can use this ramp? Because he was not in front of us, so he must have done it for himself." So that's a kasha on Rava. So Rava will answer, "Ema hoil v'aso ne'redo." That was the Maisa Shahaya, that it's not because Shalom B'fanavu, but that was the Maisa, says Rashi. Toshma, here she is Yisrael v'nochim Dorim B'socha. You have a city where Jews and non-Jews live. There's a bathhouse that's open on Shabbos. Water is being heated by, it's run by non-Jews. The non-Jews are heating up water. In Rov Nochrim, so if the majority of the city is non-Jews, Mutter Lirchotz B'miyad. Motzei Shabbos, a Jew can go into the bathhouse and you don't have to wait at all. You can already start using it right after Shabbos. You don't have to wait b'chadei sheyasu. Many times, it might be you have to wait for the period of time until it would take to heat up that water before you can use it. But since the bathhouse was being heated for non-Jews, the Jew can use it right away. In Rav Yisrael, if the majority in the city were Jews, and therefore it was being heated up for Jews, so you can use it, but you have to wait an hour and a half, whatever period of time it takes for that hot water to have been heated before you can use it. And this was being done even Shalom B'fana. Shalom B'fana, I thought it's permitted, like the case where the non-Jew put out the plank, or the ramp, and you were allowed to use it right away. So, by the case of heating up, it's clear that they're heating it up for the majority of the people in the city. And that's what determines the din. So if it's the majority Jews, we have to assume it was done for Jews, and that's why you'd have to wait. Toshma, come in here a proof. Ner hadolak b'mesiba. You have like a candle that's lit, and it's providing for light for a number of people sitting in that area. In Rav Nachrim, if the majority of the people sitting there are non-Jews, mutar lishtamish lo, the Jews are allowed to use it. In Rav Yisrael, also was lit on Shabbos, and its majority Jews are there. It was clearly lit to benefit Jews. You would not be allowed to use the light. Mechza mechza. Let's say it was 50-50. Asur. The reason why it's asur, because it's a case they're all sitting together. They're makir, so it's not a case of eina makira where you said you could use it. That's why even mechza mechza is asur. Also nami, Same thing like the heating up the bathhouse. It was lit clearly. The reason over there why it's saucer because it was being lit clearly to benefit the Jews that are there. Shmuel Ikla Avin Torah. Shmuel visited the house of Avin Torah. Also, who Nachri Adlik Shrub, a non-Jew came and lit a candle. And Shmuel understood that it was being lit for the Jew. So therefore, he didn't want to benefit from it. So Adrinu Shmuel Ape, Shmuel turned his face away from the candle, not to benefit from the light. Kivan the Chazid Aisi Shtorvika Kori, Shmuel saw that the non-Jew had brought a document to read by that candle. Omar, Shmuel said, oh, he lit it for his own benefit. So so he turned his face back to the light. And that's the din. That's why, if a housekeeper comes into a room and lights turns on the light, because she has to see what's going on and whatever she's doing, you can benefit from it. Harlav kol kisvei. New parent. We're going to learn more about muktzah. Kol hakelim nitolim b'Shabbos v'dal tosei anymore. All utensils, and even utensils that have doors, like an armoire, something like something that you use for storage. So even if the doors had come off, and we'll see even on Shabbos if they came off, the doors of those items would not be muktzah because this is an item that you use. There's dishes there that you use on Shabbos. This thing is used to store the dishes. Since when Shabbos came in, this kli, including the door, was already prepared for use on Shabbos. So therefore, even if the door falls off, you can use it. Right? Avol Pishna Sparkle with Shabbos, even if it fell apart on Shabbos, or it got separated. Ein and domin l'daltos habayis. For example, the door of your house. If for some reason the door of your house came loose and now is separate from the house, so that the door is not muchan from Shabbos, because the house is connected to the ground. So it's different than, it would be considered eino min hamuchan. But kelim that are ready to be used on Shabbos, you could use any part of it. Then the Mishnah says, Noitil Adam Kornis Lepatzeh Bosa Egozi. Kornis is like a hammer, and the blacksmiths would use this kind of hammer. And it says you can bring a hammer to crack open walnuts. Now the Gemara's question is going to be, there is a concept of muktzah machmas kli melachto le'isser. A blacksmith's hammer is used specifically for the work of a blacksmith, which is work that's also b'Shabbos. So the question is going to be, is a hammer of a blacksmith, if we're going to use it for something that's permitted, like cracking open walnuts, is it muktzah or not? Or are we talking about a special hammer that was made to crack open walnuts? Such a hammer you could use, but not a hammer that belongs to specifically a blacksmith. Right now it says you can use a hammer, but we're going to question what kind of hammer. And the Mishnah is going to go through a whole list. Kardom lachtoch bosad vela. Kardom is like an axe to cut open, an axe that a woodsmith would use, which is also klishim lachto le'isser. Could you use it to cut open a fig cake? Megeira is like a saw, lagur borsagvina. Could you cut cheese with it? Magrefa ligraf bosa grogros. It's like some kind of shovel. As harachas v'samalges losis alav lekotn. It's like a pitchfork, Rashi says. Ma'afkin bokash b'goyren. Could you use that to put food in front of a child? As a kushvis a karkar, these are like needles that were used by the weavers. Litchov bo, to eat cherries and other fruit. Machat shel yad, a needle that you use to sew. Litol bo sakot, to remove a thorn. Vishal sakoin, a large needle that you sew sacks with. Liftoch bo sadelos. All of these questions, same question as I talked about the blacksmith. Are we talking about mamish, one of these kalim used by a worker during the week, and you could use the same kli for a permitted function on Shabbos? Or are we talking about items that were made specifically for use, like to eat, for walnuts, or to put for a child, or something like that? So the Gemara analyzes the Mishnah. These large armoires and things like that are not muktzah on Shabbos, even if the door fell off. V'loma boy b'chol. That means there's no shaila. Do we learn the Mishnah to mean certainly in a case where they fell off Erev Shabbos? Certainly it would be mutter, because then you prepared to use them as well. So the Gemara says, Adarabba. But Shabbos, if they're intact going into Shabbos, Muchanim al Gabi Aviyah. Just like you can use the main armoire, you could use the door. But Bachol and Muchanim al Gabi Aviyah. But for example, maybe if the door fell off on Friday, so the door is now separate from the main kli. Maybe the door would be muktzah. Amar Abaye hachikam. Kol hakelim nitam b'Shabbos b'dalto semi moin. Apple pishnas park. Even if it fell off on Friday, nitolim b'Shabbos. So that's how we have to learn the Gemara. How the Mishnah, how the Gemara understood the Mishnah. That even if it was separate already, since it's part of the larger item, it's considered part of the larger item. Ton Rabbanon, Delat shel Shedav shel Tevav shel Migdal, a door of a large storage kli, Neutlin. So you can take them off of the main kli. Avalom machzirin, you can't return them. That's by a Sheda Tevel Migdal. V'shalul, a chicken coop, shel Tarnagolim lo notlim v'lo machzir. You wouldn't be able to take the door off or put it back on. Putting it back on is like binyan, and taking it off is also the opposite of binyan, is demolishing. So now the Gemara doesn't understand. I understand why you prohibited by a chicken coop, Ishma Shalul Shultana Golim Ksavar, Kivan the Mechabi Ba'ara, since the chicken coop is connected to the ground, and therefore Yesh Binyan Bakarka, Yesh Stira Bakarka. By things that are connected to the ground, there's something called binyan, something called demolishing. So you violated both by removing, by putting on, it's both. But removing a door of an armoire, Mike Sover, what does he hold? Is there a concept of binyan by kalim? So then yesh stira b'kalim. So why would you be able to remove it but not put it back? Put it back, it's a binyan. So removing would also be a binyan. If you hold binyan, there's a problem. V'ain stir b'kalim, but if there's no such concept, ain't binyan b'kalim. You can't have it both ways. Either there's binyan. If there's binyan, there's stira. If there's no stira, there's no binyan. So you got to be all or none. Amar Abaya, la'olam k'savar yesh binyan b'kalim, v'yesh stira b'kalim. We do hold that there's binyan by vessels. V'shenitlu ka'amar. We're talking about you didn't remove, it was removed. And it says if you come on and you find that the door had been removed, you're allowed to put it back. But it doesn't give you a heter to remove it. So Amar lo Rava, Rava doesn't accept Abaye. State shuvas b'derachada dini tolin ktani. The Baraisa clearly says you can remove it. Not that it was found removed. Another problem. My aval lo machzirin. Aval seems to imply you can remove, but you can't return. So don't tell me, Abaye, that it means you came around and you found the door detached. It's not detached. The Baraisa allowed you to detach it. Well, then how does that work? Only things that are connected to the ground. Is there a thing that if you add a door to the chicken coop is considered binyan? Because the chicken coop is connected to the ground. But an armoire that sits in your house is not connected to the ground. And therefore, there's no concept of binyan. Okay, if there's no concept of binyan and stira, why can you remove it but not return it? You could technically put it back, but if you put it back, you're gonna like stick it in with a hammer, or you might stuff it in there to make sure that it stays there, and then you have the malacha of makeh b'patish. You did a different malacha, not binyan. You completed a malacha called makeh b'patish, and that's why Rava explains Brisa why you can't return it. Technically, you could return it as well, because ain binyan, ain steer became. And that's how the Shulchan Aruch paskins. Ain binyan steer became b'Shabbos. V'amafarik kli asui she'efshar yeh lefarko o masur kli nisparik be'ein tzorach be'enei u'v'onus l'kach ein b'kach isser. There's no isser. Okay, noitel adam kornis. We said a hammer is not muktzah if you're going to use it to break open walnuts. Rav Yehuda, that's kornis shalagozim l'fatzebos agozim. It's not a blacksmith's hammer. It's a special hammer that you buy in the Bed Bath and Beyond to crack open walnuts. Aval shel nafachim lo, but a hammer that actually is used by a blacksmith for his job, even though you're going to use it for a tzorech that is permitted on Shabbos, it keeps that hammer muktzah. Because ikaro l'meleches isser, that it's muktzah machmas meleches isser. Ksavar, dover shemalachtu le'isser, afilu tzorech gufo asser. That even if you have a kli that's malachtu le'isser, Rashi says, shegufo tzorech od l'mlach acheres shalater. You want to use the same implement for a dvar heter, ein metatma sol osam lach. We're going to see there are two reasons why you would move an item. You want to pick up the item because you need the place where the item is sitting. That's called tzarech l'mkom. Or you could move an item or pick up an item because you need to use the item. So it's more, Chazal will permit more often to pick up an item if you're going to use it for a dvar heter, as opposed to just use its place. So if afilu l'tzorech gufo it's aser, then certainly to move the hammer because you need its place certainly would be aser. Amalei Rabba Elameata, from what you just said, Seifa Diktani, Vesarachas Vesamalgaze. We said this was like a pitchfork, and you're going to use it Lasesa Lablakotn. Understand? Rachas Umalgaze Mimiyakti Lablakotn. You can't go into Bed Bath and Beyond and buy a pitchfork to serve food to a cotton. So a Rachas Umalgaze must be a real pitchfork. So therefore, Rabba therefore learns the Mishnah that when it says you can use a hammer to break open walnuts on Shabbos, we're talking about a blacksmith's hammer. Why? Because Ksavar, Davar Shemalachtu Le'isr L'tzorach Gufa Mutter. That even if you have a kli that's normally used for prohibited work, but now you're going to use it for permissible work, it's not muktzah anymore. And we're going to see a major debate back and forth regarding this until we come to a maskana. Mirz Hashem will learn the maskana regarding this muktzah issue when tomorrow night, regular time, 8 o'clock in the evening. Tonight is the Navi Shir at 8 o'clock. We're learning Perek Tesvav. That's the Perek that we missed last Sunday night. Okay, happy